name is Courtney Barish, and I'm going to talk about my family tree. A little bit about myself first. I was born on September 12th, 1995 in Mayfield, Ohio. I am the youngest to my sister Sam, whose real name is Samantha, but she hates being called Samantha, so she prefers Sam. Starting at my elementary school, I went to St. Joe's Catholic. Went to St. Joe's Catholic school until 2nd grade, and then in 3rd grade, I went to a public school, Harriman Elementary. And the reason my parents took me out of there is because my sister also went to the public school. And 3rd grade is when I first got glasses, and for 4th and 5th, I went to Crestwood Intermediate School, and there's when I started playing basketball. And then 6th or 8th at middle school, I continued my basketball career with Crestwood, and I also started track for the first time in 7th grade. Didn't even think about throwing previous to that, but one of my best friends threw, and so I just went with him. And then high school, I went to Crestwood High School where I did track. I quit basketball for bowling. My family bowled, it's weird, I don't know. And I also did rec softball in the summer. And so high school I was just like really active in sports, and I always did pretty well academically, and I think that's because my parents always got on me about it. So I obviously came to Mount Union, and here I did track. I didn't really visit Mount Union previous to applying at all. I don't know why I came here other than for track. And well, I'm happy I did. But so for track I do weight and hammer, and I've never done those previous to college, and now I have the record in both of them for Mount Union here. And when I first came here, I wanted to be a marketing major, and I quickly found out that that wasn't for me. So I switched over to environmental science and fell in love with that. Okay, and then for my family tree, the colors: pinks, women; blues, male. White is deceased, and the off color is divorced. A couple colors got messed up there. But I found on my mom's side, this is the side, I found that my oldest known relative was my grandma's father, who was born in 1875. And that's not very old, but that's as far as I could go back through Ancestry.com. And also, this side of the family was from Russia and Poland, but they all settled near Cleveland, Ohio. And many of the males on this side of the family worked in coal mines as laborers, and a couple of them died because of it. And then from my dad's side, the color pattern was obviously the same, and my dad's side was from Czechoslovakia, all of them, and then my grandma divorced and remarried, and that man was German. But this side of the family settled near Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and then eventually just migrated into West Virginia and Ohio. And a lot of men on this side of the family joined the military, which wasn't really uncommon because of the draft and stuff. And so even though everybody in your family kind of makes up who you are today, 3 specific people influenced me the most. So I'm going to talk about them next. And I'll start with my mom, Sharon Malesiak Barish. She was born April 25th, 1966 in Cleveland, Ohio. And she was a middle child, had a younger sister, Stephanie, and an older brother, Dwayne. Dwayne actually passed away a couple years ago. And her earliest memory was her getting her fingers stuck in a door because her cousin was chasing her around the house. And so she was rushed to the hospital and get her finger sewn on when she was super young. So it was a little traumatic for her. But she lived in Macedonia, Ohio for a little bit, but then her parents moved to Manaway where they built a house, and she's lived there ever since. She also went to Crestwood High School where I attended. When she wanted to grow up, when she was little, she wanted to be a truck driver when she grew up because she thought that it'd be really cool just to get paid for traveling the world. Not the world, the country. That'd be a little. But one of her favorite memories was going to the Smoky Mountains as a family, and I think that's where I get my love for the outdoors, just because she's so adventurous and likes to travel. So we always go on mini adventures together. And then at 22, well, she met my dad in high school, and they got married at the age of 22. And he's next. He was born February 19th, 1966 in Akron, Ohio. When he was little, he wanted to be a police officer, but never really got to carry out that dream because he said he got a good job after high school and just worked his way up in the company since then. Every name in his side of the family starts with a D. His sister's Davidia, and then his stepsister's Dana, and so it just D name runs in the family, as well as Chubby Cheeks. They call him Bear's Cheeks. When he was little, would it be a okay, I got that. Okay, so when he was growing up, he was in a strict house because his grandpa was a Marine, or an ex-Marine, and that's who he lived with for most of his life. And I think that carried over to my house. We weren't like crazy strict, but we had like a lot of rules. We had chores and everything like that. And I specifically remember me and my sister were really going at it one time. We got in a fight, and he like kicked us out of the house and like locked the door, and we weren't allowed to come back in until it resolved. And so we were outside for a little bit. We didn't really talk. And then, so the third person is my grandpa, David Malesiak. He's my mom's dad. And he was born August 10th, 1945 in a little town called Adena, Ohio. I think the population's like 300. But he went to Adena High School where he played golf, basketball, baseball, track, and he bowled for fun. He also met my grandma, Sandy Holiak, there. And right after high school, he went to the Navy. And he was a Blue Nose, which means he crossed the Atlantic Circle and traveled to a whole bunch of different places like San Juan. I think he went to France and Jamaica. And so he really liked it. He was stationed at Guantanamo Bay, but the reason he went right after high school was because he wanted to kind of avoid the draft for like the Vietnam-Korea War. And actually his term ended right before like it went into effect, but his contract said that they could call upon him for 6 months after at any time to go fight, but he never got called upon, so he decided to start a family with my grandma. And my grandpa was like my best friend growing up. They lived right next door to us, as I said earlier, and so I was always over there, and we would just always do a bunch of stuff together. My favorite memories with him was planting sunflowers every summer. And so when they would grow, he would cut them down and like bring them to my grandma as like a little sunflower bouquet, and I thought that was like the cutest thing ever. But that's about it for my family. But for this project, I thought it was really interesting. I didn't really know much about my family tree previous to this, and like there's like no records at all anywhere, and so it's like a little start for my family. So very cool.